I don't know if any of you are following the Instagram, but we're doing like a little book club. So a lot of this information we're sharing tonight, it's research done by a psychologist, Dr.
Siegel?
Dan Siegel. And so let me turn off the music. He wrote this book called The Whole Brain Child. Has anyone read it? No? You have?
Yeah.
You're a therapist. So good.
That'll
Yes. Okay.
do. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I turned that off. So it's fine. Everything's just,
Oh, good. We got it.
yeah.
Yes. So I think that's in February, right?
So that'll be in February. Yeah, if you want to read the book at your own pace. But then we're going to be meeting.
I think we're gonna do like a coffee shop. I think Fiddleheads is open later, so I think that's likely gonna be where it's at.
Yeah.
And even if you don't read it, but just want to like get some of the like excess content from conversations around it, I don't think it's gonna be super formal.
No.
But if anyone like
Nothing we
wants
do
to and
is-
has anything that they want to get out of that book conversation, like we
Right.
are open to that feedback too. And
Yeah. So that's the book club.
yeah,
February, did we say like 5th or 6th or something? It's on the Instagram. I don't know.
it's on the Insta.
So like scan that little QR code. and
Yeah,
then
on the
information is
thing, if
there.
you scan the QR code, you'll get the whole schedule for all of this.
Yeah.
And then any extra things that we end up doing too. But
And the second book for the second half of the school year will be Good Inside. So Dr. Becky.
yeah,
Those are,
and then we'll come together probably May, just towards the end of the school year,
yeah.
before things pick up with summer.
Yeah.
Yay!
But I know for myself as a parent, it helped so much when I started understanding what was actually going on developmentally with my kiddo. This was way before I had kids. Early grad school, I was working with kids and recognizing like, oh, their behavior isn't just, out of disrespect or they're disobedient or they're being ornery. Like it's developmentally appropriate to be pushing boundaries and to be behaving in the ways that they are. And so understanding what's actually going on and how you can aid them, right, through the process of like better decision making. And so we call that integration. We all have a lot of different parts in our brain that do different things. And we're going to get into those parts and what they are and the ways that we can integrate those parts so that we have access to higher functioning, right, more regulation. So I thought drawing it would be the most helpful.
Do you want to introduce yourself initially?
Oh, I'm Jamie. Hi, thank you so
Is this
much
your
for
background?
being here. Yeah, background. I'm a clinical psychologist. I worked with kids for a while, a couple years in grad school, and then like teenagers more recently, but my main focus is just adults. I do a lot of trauma. That was my specialty in residency, pre-internship, and moved here from California in April. So, yeah, the snow's been fun. Asterisk.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing I'm learning. Yeah, my kiddo loves it though. What else? Why we're doing this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we both do a lot of trauma work.
Yeah. I'm Tracy.
This is Tracy.
Yes, I own Firefly Counseling in Tosa, and similarly, like my background, initially I was trained with like kids and teens, so have like a lot of this background, and I think that's been super helpful as I've transitioned into like adult trauma and grief work as well, because a lot of people our age are recovering from our own kind of trauma backgrounds and like even small t traumas of just like how we were raised. And honestly, being in the field too for like the last 15 years and starting in kids, like there's been like a huge change in just like how we parent
Yeah.
kids too. So this hopefully helps give a little bit extra background. I know that like my default goes to back like how I was raised. So
Right.
like having this knowledge really helped me as a parent to like try to move out of that sometimes when I can. When I'm
Dysregulated.
regulated, I can move into like the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, like, I think my initiative in coming here is like, okay, if we can all kind of come together with our kids at this stage and intervene now, like maybe you'll put me out of a job by the time I'm like retiring and not like going through so much like childhood trauma that a lot of parents don't necessarily want to be.
It's preventative care.
Exactly. It's preventative care.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's stuff that I think it's just helpful for all of us to know. And for some reason, none of us, it's like no class, there's no handout. They send you home with a baby.
Except here.
Yeah.
Here's your class, here's your
Yeah.
handout. You got it.
Yeah.
So disclaimers that we wanted to talk about. So I am in the thick of it. Like I said before, I
Yeah.
have like a 2 and a 4-year-old, and I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I don't do all this stuff perfectly all the time.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Because I've got my own brain that is doing its own stuff. But it's helpful to have kind of this like pull back in this knowledge, because then I can come back or process with my partner afterwards, or do a lot of the repair work afterwards, and like talk through what my kids need in that developmental space.
Yep.
Jamie.
Yeah, dude, we're not perfect. It is hard work.
Yeah.
We were laughing, I think I told this story last time, but we decided to do this together because we both have a passion for it and trauma, and like, okay, let's see if we can get on the other side of like chronic invalidation and like shame-based parenting. And we were leaving school, so both of our kids go here, and we were leaving, and both of our kids were having meltdowns and like struggling and not wanting to get in the car and just putting up a fight, and we were like, yeah, so.
Sweet, come
Right.
watch us. We got stuff that's helpful.
Well, like, and our knowledge doesn't change that they're still gonna be kids and have
Right.
this behavior, and it's just a matter of,
This is brains. Yeah, the other thing that we like, just to lay out, like, this is not like a replacement for therapy, so if anything like this is helpful, or if you're feeling like something's like, oh, this is like coming up for me, and this is then blocking in my way, like, I see a therapist, like,
Yeah.
love therapy to process my own crap so it doesn't get in the way for my kids too. And if you ever need like referrals or anything like that, or even for kids,
we
like,
got you.
feel free to let either of us know, and we're happy to set you with our network of people that we trust or would trust with ourselves, but we hang out with too much to see them professionally.
yeah.
Cool? Okay, and now
Yeah.
you can draw, because I want to see.
Yeah, I'm like slowing myself down. It's like coming from work and then coming here, and the kids are like,
Get this knowledge.
oh my gosh, I can take a beat. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can start with the brain. So if any of you, like you said, you've read the book, if you have like any input or anyone has questions along the way, just like stop me and we can chat. It's so much more fun when it's a discussion as opposed to me just talking. Okay, so the most important parts that we're going to be discussing tonight, left brain, right brain, and then we're going to get to, okay, what we call our upstairs brain and our downstairs brain. Okay, so there's left and right, upstairs, downstairs. And we're going to talk about what all this means and how we can integrate these different pieces. Okay, so left brain. Does anyone know a bit about what the left brain does? Our good old left brain. It's like logic. I love that the book has it all in L's. It's very cute because that's not how I was taught, but I love it. It's like logic. It's linear thinking, linguistic. So like all the language is there, and very literal. Right? So it's the more logical part of the brain. So we'll put that. Whereas the right brain is much more emotional. It's pre-verbal. So it's more about like the experience and the meaning behind the experience. It's like, oh, I have a gut feeling, or my heart feels warm, or that's like very right brain. Okay. Kids are super right brain dominant at this stage. So I think that helps us adjust our expectations, right? Because so often we want them to be here, or we try to like logic with them and reason with them, and they're just over here, like just swimming in the emotion, quite literally hijacked by it. And so what the hope is over time, we have like this cool little part of our brain. It's called the corpus callosum, and it's like a bundle of fibers, and it grows and it thickens. So initially, these two parts of the brain, they don't talk very much. Like I said, our kiddos are mostly here. Over time, and with different experiences that we can use as opportunities to like build that, right? So that the two can talk much more. Okay. The other piece is this like upstairs brain, downstairs brain. Okay, so we all have heard about that like primitive reptilian brain, right? It's back here, it's like the limbic system, it's your brainstem, the cerebellum, your little amygdala, which is like the fear center. So this is back here, it's the downstairs part of the brain for purposes of our metaphor. It's very survival, like instinct, right, oriented. It's the oldest part of our brain. So before the rest of it evolved, we had this part just taught us like run away from that bear, do the thing to make sure that you stay alive. So it's very helpful, very important, and we don't want to be ruled by it, right? We want the two parts of the brain to talk. So upstairs brain, this is like our little prefrontal cortex, right? And so our prefrontal cortex, it's a lot of executive functioning, which is like planning, organization, decision-making, like reflecting and being mindful about a choice. It's empathy, there's morality. So it's much more what we call higher order functioning. So downstairs brain, like fight, flight, big emotions. Upstairs brain is like, hey, that helps monitor this. Actually, that's not a bear, that was an email from your boss and you're okay, right? It helps monitor, so it calms this part. Now, we hope to help build this staircase for our kiddos, and we're gonna talk about how to do that, to integrate these two pieces. And as those integrate, these integrate, and like your brain is just working all together all the time. For so many of us, I think it's important to recognize our parents didn't know how to do that. And so we ourselves can often get stuck in this emotion, right? And feel like we're hijacked and stuck here and don't necessarily have the access that we want to that upstairs brain. And so I know for me, I've spent years in therapy, as have you, to like figure out how to build this freaking staircase that would have been so lovely if mom and dad had helped do that. And often that's not the case. And so how can we do that for our kiddos, right? To help regulate them and help them to feel calm. The other really important piece, so I had mentioned that little amygdala. It's part of your downstairs brain, your limbic system, which is like nervous system. So when we sense threat, if we perceive any sort of threat, this amygdala, it's literally the size of a freaking almond, and it goes off and tells you you're like gonna die. So it's like threat, 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 right? And like I said, it could be an email from your boss. It could be your partner withdrawing a little bit and you're like, he hates me. There are so many ways that amygdala just sounds an alarm, and it's not actually, right? There's not a need for us to be in a state of fight or flight.
It also works when there is a need for
It does.
fight or flight. Like that's why it's there.
That's why we want it.
Because if it is a bear, then it's like, oh,
I don't want to stop and think, what should I do?
that's a bear and I should do something about it.
Right.
But it can't tell the difference between like an actual stressor and a deadline for something that doesn't actually matter.
Right. It thinks it's helping you. It's quite cute. I talk to my brain that way often. I'm like, oh, you're cute. Like, we're fine. You know? So that amygdala kind of like in the book, it talks about a baby gate. The way I was taught it, they call it like your upstairs goes offline. It doesn't entirely go offline when our amygdala like cuts off access. We don't fully lose access to that prefrontal cortex, but all the resourcing is going to our lower part so that we can survive whatever it is we need to survive, right? So I call it being hijacked because it's like, it's already difficult to get up here and then all of a sudden it's kind of impossible. You have this like total barrier, especially when you're a 3-year-old, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so last time, if you were here last time, right, we did like, you saw my like hand brain. So again, this is like that upstairs brain, that executive functioning part, and back here is like the downstairs brain behind, right? And what she's talking about right now is kind of that like flooding idea. So when information comes into our amygdala, right, it usually comes in, there's a threat, and if we can kind of stay regulated, it comes all the way around and we say, actually, like
this is the prefrontal cortex.
Yep, like actually, this is not a threat, this is just a big fluffy bush, not a bear, right? And when we get like, when that cutoff comes up, what actually happens with your kids and with us too, is like we get emotionally flooded. So like there's nothing, like, yeah, we have some resources, but like there's nothing that's like helping us close that loop and say like, hey, that isn't a bear. So like your kid is reacting to the thing like it is the thing, even though it is just that you
gave them a blue cup instead of a red cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. Also important to recognize is it's unfinished. It's not fully developed until you're like 25 to 30, depending on your gender. So recognizing that this is unfinished also helps us set expectations for our kids, right? It's really difficult to have these expectations for them to be regulated all the time, to make sound decisions, to have empathy when needed, to share that toy when like this is not developed at all. And if they're flooded and they're having big feelings and they're more right brain downstairs, yeah, no, we're not gonna get there, right? A lot of us are still working to fully finish this and have that staircase. So that being said, it also gives you this perspective of like, oh yeah, I'm teaching my kid these things. I can't necessarily get mad at the fact that they're not doing them right away, or I can't like reason with them in the moment, because no, they literally can't with where their brain is. So it's so helpful to understand that piece.
If you think about it too from like a biological perspective, which is how I like to think about like therapy a lot of the times, like it makes sense that if you're doing so much work in building a brain, right? Like what do you want your kid to develop first?
Right.
Survival strategies.
Right.
Right? Like that is like evolutionary in a way, right? We don't need to like logic and like think through all of this like linear decision making, sign a contract. We don't need to do that when we're 1 or 2, but we do need to like, hey, where's my mom? You know, I'm hungry, where's food?
Yeah.
You know?
We're born with this fully intact.
Yeah.
Cry when we get hungry, cry when we're afraid, right?
It's what keeps us alive
Yeah.
when we're babies.
And then this just continues to develop and develop and develop. But okay, any questions so far? Is that kind of everyone tracking okay? Okay, cool. Okay, so that being said, when a kid is having a really difficult time with something, like so if your kid got the red cup and they're pissed off because they really wanted that blue cup, even though yesterday all they wanted was the red cup, and so they're crying on the floor, freaking out. We've all been there. I think so much of our impulse is to be like, oh, but yesterday you liked this cup. I don't understand, why, get up, why are you crying right now? This is kind of ridiculous. Like, to logic or try to reason with them, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna hit this right brain wall because they're hijacked by their emotion in that moment. Kids have 2 different types of tantrums. They have upstairs brain tantrums and downstairs brain tantrums. So upstairs, they kind of know what they're doing, right? There are times where my daughter kind of looks at me and then she'll just like hit me. And she knows, little stink. She totally knows what she's doing. She doesn't want to go to sleep and she wants to get into this power thing. So this is an upstairs trauma, upstairs tantrum moment. So that we deal with very differently than like when they're hijacked and that prefrontal cortex kind of goes offline. So that is more like we keep with our boundary, right? And they might have a consequence. Okay. But what we're talking about right now is more downstairs. So they have complete lack of control over what they are doing. They are hijacked by emotion. They have no access to the logic, no access to higher functioning. And so what we like to say is to connect before we try to teach at all. Connect
Before correct.
Correct, sure.
Yeah.
Connect before
Something
correct.
like that.
Yeah.
What's it in here?
It's in your pamphlet, page 2.
They connect and redirect.
And redirect. I don't like that though, because I don't redirect. I like use it to teach.
Yeah.
So, but what that means is when they are out of sorts, you would get on the floor, you would get to their level, and oh, honey, I know. You are so frustrated. I didn't realize you wanted that cup. You're so disappointed right now. I get it. I totally get it. It's okay to be upset. Yeah, but I wanted, you know, and they keep going. Okay, you can be upset. I'm right here when you need me. If you want a hug, I'm right here, and you just keep going about your own thing, right? We're trying to validate so that they feel seen in that moment, and once you connect to that emotion, they actually have some more access to these other regions, and it starts to build these neural pathways, right? So it helps with that like bundle of fibers I was talking about. They get stronger.
If you think about this from like a more adult perspective, like if you've ever been like really pissed off and then someone's like, well, don't be pissed off. It was just this thing or that, right? Like that doesn't help, right? It pisses me off more.
Yeah.
So to know that that's like a big piece of this too is like by validating kind of what's going on,
Right.
like they're seeing you as a safer person too, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, I'm not having this big scary feeling by myself.
They feel safe.
Like someone gets it,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, just threw that in.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. They feel a sense of safety. So it's like psychological safety. They're like, oh, okay. They aren't thinking this, but like subconsciously I feel heard, I feel seen, I feel understood.
Yeah.
I'm not being like I'm not getting in trouble for having this reaction.
I'm not unsafe within myself. Yeah. And I think the thing I get a lot of the times too, now working more with like parents, right, is like, how can I tell the difference between like an upstairs and downstairs? So I used to work in like a day treatment place where it was like all behavioral stuff for so many different reasons, right? And you could see the difference because when it's an emotional dysregulation, it's like cuckoo, like there's no like lights on, right? Like there's no kind of break, there's no like glimmer of like, oh, there you are, little kiddo, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when it's more an upstairs tantrum, you're gonna see like they can crack a smile here and there, or you could break them. Like if you tickled them, like they would probably giggle, you know? But with a downstairs one, like that's not accessible. So that's how I can always kind of tell the difference. And then the thing that I also encourage people to look at is like the function of the behavior. Like what is this doing for them, right? All behaviors are functional, helpful or not.
Serve a purpose.
They're all trying to do something to help in some way, shape, or form. So if there's something that is not helpful behavior-wise or something that's going on that way, to look at what is the function of this? What is this serving for my kid? Because then I can help them like connect, right, into like what is a better way to kind of get this need met.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think oftentimes, because it's so easy for adults to trace and find that function, for kids it's more difficult, but oftentimes it's literally they just want boundaries. Like kids pretend they don't want boundaries and don't want routine and don't want structure. They're craving it. And so they will push you and push you and push you, seeing if you're going to hold your boundary. And so sometimes that is also what's happening as their brain is developing.
The smartest
They
teens
feel
that I've had
safer with
like
a
will
boundary.
say like, hey, I need, like in individual session, like, hey, I need us to talk to my grandma to set this limit for me. Or I need my mom to take my phone from me at this certain time, right? So that's like a very advanced space of this, but like what you're saying, right, in this like kid space is like they're craving this. Otherwise, when we don't have those boundaries, it can totally create like anxiety because they don't know where those boundaries are.
Right. And then they feel like they're in control, and that's too much power for a kid to have.
Yeah.
Freaks them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got a question.
Yes.
So I was thinking about you guys, I went to the last one, and when my daughter had a meltdown, I was trying to use the tools, but I feel like my brain was on survival mode too.
Right.
It's like when they're screaming and crying, and you're like, okay, I need to be regulated before I can regulate her. How do we do that? How do we do that when our
Yeah. Well, and this part will activate and light up. It's interesting. They've actually done brain scans while a child is tantruming at the same time as the parent who is with the child. The same parts of the brains light up. So it's going to activate, right, that primitive part of your brain and your amygdala. And so unless you are super practiced and rehearsed and just like, oh, I know how to, it's going to be difficult. It's so hard. I'm practiced and rehearsed and I've had years of therapy and I'm now a psychologist and I still am like at times, oh my gosh, Brad, tap out. Like I'm about to lose it. It happens, but I will. So I was just going to say really quick, I would say therapy helps a lot with that to figure out what resourcing you might need, what type of protective factors you could bring into your world to help. What I mean by that is like how you can help yourself regulate day to day so that in these moments of high emotion, you're more likely to regulate. And then what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say they'll like later tonight I'll give you a tool too that can kind of be like I don't know. I don't like to minimize like coping strategies, but I will totally like minimize coping strategies of like crap, right? So like figuring out like what you need for the coping strategy to work, right? So I can kind of give you that like that formula or what would be helpful in that. And then I think like the work that I know I've done personally for myself is like what's coming up for me that's getting in the way of being able to like utilize these calming
so
breaths
hard, though.
or going for a walk. Or
It's like when
all
you're
these things.
hijacked, you're not going to deep breathe.
No,
You're just not.
no.
So it's
And
definitely
figuring out too,
tricky.
like what have you been hijacked? What are you being hijacked from? Like all of these things. There's so many things you can do within it, which is what will give you kind of. Like
I think the
template for it.
the piece that's so helpful though that you can connect with is like like she said, what is coming up for me? Why do I feel so anxious right now? Right? And so you can trace it back to your own stuff. And that as you become more aware of that and name it, it kind of loses some of that power. There's more emotional distancing. And okay, wait, I want to backtrack. I do want to say when we are like connecting, before we're trying to teach, right? So before we get to logic and before I'm like, hey, like, let me know what cup you want next time or whatever it is. Like, I didn't realize you wanted that shirt. Let's talk through like ways that we can problem solve for next. Before that, right? We're down on their level. We're validating. We're helping them feel seen. This takes so much practice. It's a muscle that we have to build up over time. So like, if we are thinking that that is going to be just, I'm going to try this skill and it's going to work because Jamie and Tracy said it's a really good, like, it takes time, especially if you haven't been parenting that way, right? So it takes time for your kid to recognize like, oh, they're actually creating space for me right now to have this emotion, and this is safety, and this is what safety feels like, and right, there's nothing punitive, I'm not gonna get a toy taken away, it's a muscle that they're building up and you're building up.
Yeah.
Right,
And
it takes
to build that trust.
repetition
Yeah.
and trust,
Right.
yes.
And I think the thing is too is like just like being able to slow down and like recognize like
Right.
I'm not regulated right now,
Yeah.
right? Like that is the work.
It
Like
is.
that is totally what like yes.
The awareness there.
Snaps for you, right? Like
Yeah.
yes. Because
Yeah.
I think that's like slowing things down enough to notice or even go back after the fact and be like, oh, I was a hot mess express, which maybe I was earlier today, right? Yes, like that's a thing, right? It's because that way I'm more prepped for like, okay, what was going on for me? What can I do differently? How can I try to stay in this like space
Yeah.
more for me the next time, right?
I think it gets even harder when they are totally shut down.
Yeah.
Just having big emotions, but it's also like hitting and
Yeah.
fighting.
Well, and
You're
that's the
like
piece that,
fight or flight, trying to protect yourself and your sense of
right. Those are the moments I hate the most. Like Brad can attest to this. I can't, when she is hitting and I have to say like, okay, honey, I have to hold you to keep your body safe and to keep my body safe, right? I'm holding you. And she, let me, and I'm like, honey, I'm right here. I'm loving you, but I'm holding you. It feels awful to me. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but we have to keep our kids safe, right? They can't throw toys at their siblings. They can't hit you. They can't so that comes first. If it elevates beyond just like sobbing on the floor, having a meltdown in Target, and they're actually getting physical and there's any danger involved, yeah. And I will say that out loud. Like, Isla, you know that mama has to keep you safe. You're not being safe.
And sometimes I'll have it where like there is that kind of tantrum going on and I'm like so patient and so proud of myself and I'm doing the thing and then someone like headbutts me in the face and that's like just like flips me off, right? Like I'm out. And like it is also okay to leave. Like, okay, I need a break
Yeah.
and I will go like lock myself in my bathroom for a couple minutes and even if they're like banging on the door like mom, right? Like
I hate those moments.
this
but
is
yes.
like,
Yep.
and then it's that like pull back and forth between like, is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? But like, I know like I need to regulate myself so I can come back into this.
And you go back and
Yep.
you circle back and you say,
Exactly.
Mommy had to go in the bathroom because I'm keeping myself safe, right? So
Yep.
that they don't feel like you
Right.
just abandoned them because
Exactly.
there's that too.
And like talking about like what I was doing to calm down, like we're like giving them options in that way too.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
We're gonna get too
practicing
far
deep
off.
breathing. I know, man, you and I.
We could
It's
just keep
very
going.
fun.
But we,
So yeah, that's one way that we can practice integration. So if you think about integration more broadly, what we're doing is we're just taking all these little opportunities we're presented with throughout the day, literally all day long. And we are utilizing them to like create this whole brain so they're not stuck, right? So if you can just view all these different moments where there are both struggles and like really good moments and joy and like, but the struggles, I think it's helpful to know like, oh, this is a moment I can practice. This is a moment I can help integrate their brains, right? This is like, that helps me when I want to just like tap out and get really frustrated and I still do, but so another way that we do this is storytelling with your kiddo. It's just another skill that we can do. So if something happens that feels really overwhelming to them, and it might
these are on your worksheet too.
Yes.
So you have them.
you might not know that it's overwhelming till later because it might be this like, I was watching Frozen and Elsa fell out of the sleigh and she, and you're like, oh, you caught that? And this is really bothering you because you keep bringing it up. Or it could be like she got in a car crash and wants to talk about it for days and days. I think the way that we were often taught was like, yeah, that's okay. Anxiety, we're not going to talk about that. Or we're moving forward. Or
It's not a big deal.
why are you still, yes. Yes, go to your room, come out when you're happy, right? We were kind of taught to invalidate, shut it down.
That doesn't have space here. There's no space for that.
Yeah. And so what we're doing when we're allowing them to go over this and then we're helping them narrate it, we're actually giving them that integration skill so that they can then, they're here, they're freaking out about something, and then they can understand it better. I'm trying to think of an example of this. Like, oh, he left for work he went to Tennessee for a week and hasn't been away from our daughter for more than like, I don't even know, one day. And it really bothered her. Like after he got home, for a couple weeks, we would be playing with her dollhouse and she would be like, yep, and daddy leaves and Mimi, my mom, Mimi flies in and Mimi and mama are there, but daddy's gone. And it really bothered her. It was very evident. And this is kind of what we do in play therapy, but it's like, yeah, we tell the story with them. Dad had to go to work. He had training. What was that like? That felt kind of scary for you. You're used to having daddy every day, huh? Yeah, and he left and Mimi came and sometimes daddy leaves and he didn't come back and he didn't come back. Yeah, it felt like a really long time. So you're giving them words for it, right? And you played with mom and Mimi and we got Halloween costumes and, you know, it felt like a really different week. We had a different routine. So you're telling a story with them.
Right.
And then daddy came back and it was so fun. We went out to dinner and we celebrated, right? And so now when she plays and tells the story, it's a little different. He left and he came back and happy family kind of thing. But she has words for that now, right? Or like I got in a car accident with the nanny or something. And so this is one of the examples in the book. But it's like, okay, so they might say over and over, like ambulance took nanny, you know, and just wants to talk about it. And we help give them the words. Yeah, the ambulance came. That was really scary. She had a seizure. Her body kind of shook. And then you guys went boom. And then the ambulance came and mommy came and held you so tight and you felt so safe. And then we went to the hospital a couple days later and nanny's doing better. The doctors are so great. Like you give them words, you're containing their anxiety and helping build that staircase just with narrating. So that's another skill. And you can do it with anything, something traumatic or just something everyday that they see in a movie, right? What would you add?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that, honestly.
I'm trying to
Are
think.
there any questions on that?
Yeah. Any questions? A lot of it feels like after I learned some of these things, it's like, oh yeah, duh, that would help. But then it's
It's hard to do in the moment.
it is so hard. Yeah.
Like it makes sense. And
Yeah.
I use these like
Yeah.
some percentage of the time,
Yeah.
right? Because it's real life and because I have my own nervous system that is responding off of like wanting what's best for my kids and also being terrified that, you know,
I'm doing it wrong.
we're messing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You have a couple more skills.
Yes. What time are we at?
I don't know. 6:10.
Oh, perfect. We'll go over them quickly.
Well, we started really late.
We did start late.
Yeah.
So there's like engage, don't enrage. So this is like the thing that I was talking about before. So this is gonna like move a little bit away from like the kids stuff and more towards like just
What you
behavior
were talking
cycles.
about.
And we'll talk about it a little bit more. But basically like this is like the dulled down version. So like something happens, you can have a response. And then they're gonna learn something from that, right? So right now, if you haven't been using these skills, what ends up happening, right, is like something happens, my kid like throws something, I yell at them, like we don't throw things in the house, and they learn to yell when they get mad, right?
Or to shut down or
Yep,
whatever.
Yep. So basically you're kind of teaching them whatever you're kind of modeling in that way too. So like, there's a handout that will go like more in depth with this in a future thing, but here's just a little sneaky peek at it. But like here, there's like this like stop sign that I'm not gonna be able to draw right now because my brain is doing something else,
That's
right?
super great.
Should have done it in red. I don't know where the red is. But like a stop sign where like you recognize what happened and then you recognize for yourself like what's going on, like, and then what do I wanna teach them? And then like, you have to do that like during the stop spot, like when I'm in the bathroom trying to figure out what the heck am I gonna do from here? How do I wanna respond from this? And what do I want them to get out of it? So to give yourself that time and space to regulate so that you could figure out how you're going to kind of meet that back up
Hi,
top.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah?
Is that before the response? The stop before the response?
Yeah.
So we call that like a reflective stance. It's also a skill. It's like building
Yeah.
another muscle. It's another thing that we get to learn and do.
I think it's like what you think,
Yeah.
right? So something happens, what you think, and then you stop, and then,
Pausing and actually
Then
taking a
you
moment
respond.
to decide how to respond.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carry on.
Yep. Sweet. There's another one, move it to lose it. So this one helps to like get us out of like stuck emotions by just like physical movement. So there's simple things we can do to kind of help, again, engage different parts of the brain and help us kind of move to integration. So that's something, so physical movements can be helpful. There's a bunch of other ones on here too that we can kind of navigate through, but I think some of them are kind of like a little self-explanatory.
What about like upstairs brain tantrum? Okay, like I'm throwing this because I'm mad, just like I'm throwing this because I can throw this thing. Say your son's shooting lasers at his little sister all the time.
Yeah. Say they're doing that.
Maybe tonight.
Yeah.
Like what is the way? Yeah.
Yep. So,
How do you like? What would be a way to interrupt that? Because it doesn't feel like it's like a. Okay, let me get down under the level and explain like why you're shooting lasers.
Yeah.
It is though.
You're just. I know why you're shooting lasers at her.
Yeah.
But please stop. Please stop shooting lasers.
Like
Yeah.
Nerf gun things.
No, like just with his fingers shooting lasers.
Oh, okay.
it's like the I'm not touching you thing.
Lasers at everybody lately, but yeah,
Cute.
he especially.
Okay.
He's also 2, so it's like.
Yeah.
Probably do some more of that. Like, it's scary. They are fake lasers, though. So
That is so good to
the
hear.
brain kind of tantrum, like the testing the limits. Sort of.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing is to notice that like within like a test of a boundary, usually there can be some like anxiety there of like, is there a boundary here for me, right? Like, is someone going to do something with me? How safe am I within my body? So I think that's something that we can kind of notice too. I think like having a boundary then too, and like she was saying, like there's a different response for like an upstairs
Yeah.
tantrum of like, okay, she like,
It's like holding firm.
usually I'll try to have my kids like talk about it, like for my younger one, because she is verbal at this point, which is lovely, right? Like, you know, can you tell her that you don't like that, you know, and like give her the language to kind of help start to like advocate for herself.
Well, and what
And
you're
then-
doing is teaching empathy. Like, she doesn't like that. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't make her feel, right, safe. It doesn't make her feel loved. And I know you're smiling because the kid's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But that's why we're building it. It's a muscle. It takes time.
Yeah.
So the more times you reiterate it, yeah.
Well, and then like the redirection or setting a boundary or
Yep.
like moving into something else, right? Like, I think that's where some of those like limits do come in of just being able to help create like a nice family dynamic where there aren't lasers being shot at the toddler all the time.
It's so typical though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but absolutely age appropriate.
It is.
Yeah, we did teach our daughter to, well, we're trying to stop.
Right. Is there like an invisible shield that she puts up? That'd be really cute.
She's just not quite imaginative yet, so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really hard.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's constant. It's not just lasers. They're constantly like bothering each other, right? Siblings, yes.
Well, and I think it's hard too, because like I know from like having like the ages in my household too, it's like, okay, how much of this is like, at what point is it like I absolutely need to intervene now versus like when do I let them kind of just work it out? Yeah, yeah.
But is she bothered?
So if she but that's like, I think it's hard too because you're managing two
Yeah.
emotional pieces, right? So then for the toddler, it's like, okay,
It doesn't feel dramatic to her.
yeah, right.
It feels
like
very real.
I can get on your level and support you, but also give you strategies and skills of like, okay, let's walk away from him,
Yeah.
you know?
The downstairs brain more for her.
Yeah.
Help her remain calm under laser fire.
I mean,
Or like assertiveness training. That's another way that you're building that. Like, how can you be assertive? Stop. I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. I don't.
and once in a while, if you lose it, right? Then you go back in, you say, hey,
Yeah.
that didn't go great for me, and let's talk about it, right? Because that's what we do at our house.
Does that feel realistic though? What we're saying?
Possibly. I mean, I think he gets it, but it's
He wants to
an every single day type thing.
push.
Stop telling your sister she's baby. Stop shooting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, it's like, I've got my legs
Yeah.
down, I'm pokey, but not really pokey, I'm just faking it.
Yeah.
Tormenting you.
So there's a good book.
Intentional tormenting of siblings, which happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good book called Siblings Without Rivalry. And it's really good because it talks again about just kind of like the biology of having siblings and just that like, it's like they're vying for resources. They're vying for attention, right? Like you have Milo and he was there first and he knows what it is to get like full attention on him. And then you have this other like nonverbal thing that comes into the household and so it doesn't want laser shot at it. Like what is that, right? So just knowing that like there's a dynamic thing going on there too. So that book can be really helpful as well, just to kind of like figure out how do I navigate this? How do I help them work through this? And it is hard because you've got two littles that,
I mean, she's definitely not in any like physical danger.
Right.
No.
At this
No.
point.
No.
At this point.
but if she feels that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laugh a second later, but yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So I think
And if that's their game too, where she's like, bah, and then it's a game, right? Like that may
Well,
be their own thing that they're navigating.
And like you said, oftentimes it is attention. So like, yeah, there need to be consequences if he continues to do that. But you can also try talking with him about it. If it is an upstairs, you can try talking with him. He's not totally hijacked. Like, are you wanting one-on-one time? Do you want to color with daddy?
Yeah.
Do you, right?
Redirect into an activity, redirect into like, the
Yeah.
bond.
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. Come up behind him with lasers. It's gonna be good. Okay,
Yeah.
I feel like we should do questions because I feel like,
It's getting late.
yes.
Okay.
Do you not?
But you didn't get to do your part.
Sorry.
Okay, questions. We were going to do this really cool thing where we asked you a way that you struggled in the last week with your kiddo and we could all like walk through it together, but I don't know that there's time for that.
Yeah, I feel like if there's questions, I'd like to be able to address them. What time are we at?
Do churches not have clocks?
I don't know.
6:20.
Yeah, why don't we just do,
Okay.
because then we can talk through some of these
Any
pieces.
pressing questions?
Or any questions in general, or situations that you want to talk through.
Okay.
I think in the cars, like especially triggering for me,
Yeah.
just moment this morning, and then just quickly my 4-year-old feeling is unbuckling himself off his seatbelt.
Oh, we haven't entered that stage yet. Okay.
Bought an additional clip and somehow made it happen. And
Terrifying.
while you're driving, and now it's dark, and I'm in safety hazard, so I'm having to stop
Constantly.
to times to put him in, and so it's
Yeah.
really hard to like stay calm with a boundary.
Right.
Yes.
And so yeah, the car, I think specifically, just feels like really hard to maintain my like composure because I'm like trying to get us from A to B, and
Yeah.
the two of them are like in the background.
Well, and as much as we think we can kind of just like drive and it's like you don't think about what you're doing when you're driving, like there's actually a lot going on in your brain while you are driving. And then to have that excess like stimulation too of just noise.
It's a
and then
lot.
that fear on top of like, are you seatbelted in? Right? Like that's a lot. That's a lot in that moment.
Yeah.
I also have been following, I think it said that Dr. Becky had some good feedback with that of just like not trying to like negotiate or
Right.
explain.
Right.
I've been guilty of that. I showed him like it was like a dummy kind of video.
Oh. This is how your brain would spill.
Best thing. I was like trying to like,
Yeah.
I was like, this
No.
is too much. It's just like, okay, car stops when seatbelts are
Yeah.
and just
The book's literally like you don't negotiate with a terrorist. You just tell them the rule, right? You tell
Yeah.
them the rule over and over and you explain it over and over, right? Are you wanting, yeah. I can go down a whole rabbit. My first thought was like to get a lock, you know, this kind that you put on a like U-Haul storage unit and just like to keep them safe. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
It sounds like this kid would figure it out.
Look it up, but I
MacGyver.
saw something where it's like, if kids are escaping, it's like, mom, you know, sometimes like a backward shirt with it.
Yeah, but I think like having like a separate moment too, and I know it's irritating and frustrating, but like if you hear it or if you see it come undone, like pulling over and like, okay, the car's not moving until,
Locking
yeah.
yourself in the bathroom, filter, it's like I'm pulling over in the
Yeah.
car.
If you
Is-
need to get out and yell a curse word too, most cars are pretty soundproof. But like even just for him to feel that limit, right? And
Yeah.
like start to build that bridge, or even like doing some of that narrating of, you know, it's my job to keep you safe and I cannot do that, you know, if you're taking your seatbelt
Right.
off in the car.
Right.
And every time I hear it off, we're gonna pull over and we're not gonna get to these things, you know,
Right.
like having those boundaries. And because it sounds like too, it's not like this like downstairs tantrum. It's
No.
like, I don't wanna wear a seatbelt because, I mean,
And it's usually because he just wants to move around or grab something.
totally, right.
Is there part of it where he like wants to activate you? Do you feel like he's trying to bug you? Okay.
Sometimes there's like the
So
smile,
that's why
kind
I'm
of
like,
like,
I try to
is
not
she is-
overreact because I'm like,
Yeah.
I want him to know that
Perfect. Yeah, you almost don't want to react at all. You just pull over and buckle him back in, keep driving. Parenting is so different if your kid is either neurodivergent or deeply feeling.
yeah.
If they're so, and we're gonna, that's like our 8th
One of
workshop.
the last ones is like
So
neurodivergent.
some of these will pertain to your kiddo and some will not. Right? Because there's that like pathological demand avoidance where they're gonna be like, yeah. Anyway, we don't want to keep you longer and I want to go relieve the teachers, but
Yes.
yeah,
I think, what is our next one? I don't know. either.
January something.
It's in January.
It's on attachment. If you all want
I think you have the
join.
calendar. They probably have it.
Yeah, it's in the packet.
It's in the packet.
But
so,
thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, the next one should be here.
in this freezing weather.
I know. I think, are we? Yeah, and then is the book club is not until February, so
Yeah.
it'll be a workshop first. But
Yeah, the attachment workshop, and then there's a workshop in February and the book club in February.
Yep. And then if you guys have any questions or need any resources or anything like that, you can always reach out afterwards. We're happy to connect or you can
Our
grab us
emails
at
are
school
on there.
too. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Yay, nice to meet you all.
Yes.